One of the most popular questions asked by travelers and expats alike is what's the cost of living in Istanbul, Turkey? As one of the most vibrant and culturally rich cities in the world, Istanbul has been attracting people from all over the globe for centuries. So for those considering moving to Istanbul, I'm going to share the current expenses in the city, such as housing, utilities, groceries, and others. So if you're curious about what is it like to live in this beautiful city, grab a cup of tea and let's get started. One of the most important things that we need to keep in mind when moving to Istanbul is, of course, the rent. And the rent probably is gonna be the most expensive thing and the thing that you really need to pay more attention to, especially if you're earning in the local currency, which is the Turkish lira. So you really need to have that in mind, that it's not gonna be affordable as even maybe 6 months ago or even 1 year ago. Right now the prices are incredibly high. So you need to keep in mind that if you want to find just a decent place, a decent apartment in a very good located place, you need to have a budget of a minimum 10 to 15,000 Turkish liras. And I'm talking about an apartment, a flat, far away, not in a very nice neighborhood, and maybe not in a brand new apartment. So you can imagine the other ones, how expensive they are. Also, you need to keep in mind that depending on the place that you're living in, if it's like a complex or just a building with a few apartments, you are going to need to pay a monthly fee. And this monthly fee is mainly for example, the monthly maintenance of the place and such things. So it can range between 300 liras, 500 liras, but some places like this Cité, as they are known, like with security and everything, they even pay more than 1,000 liras. So also that is another expense that you need to keep in mind when renting a house. In our personal case right now, we are paying for rent 10,000 Turkish liras. It's a very nice area, very well located on the Asian side, but because we rented this flat just last year. So here in my area, actually you cannot find, because I was checking just 2 days ago before preparing for this video, in our area you cannot find anything for less than 20,000 Turkish liras. Another thing that it's gonna be going on for the next weeks or even months is that because of the unfortunate earthquake that happened in southeast Turkiye, many people are relocating to another provinces in the country, especially Izmir, Antalya, Mersin, Istanbul, Ankara. So of course the prices, many landlords are already like business already, they are taking advantage of the unfortunate situation. And already in Konya, they increased 40% the price of rentals. So you can expect that in provinces like Istanbul and the main ones, they are going to be increased as well in the coming weeks or months. Also, another thing that I would like to add in this section of rents is that you need to keep in mind that apart from the rent that you have to pay, also when signing the contract, you are going to be asked to give the equivalent to one rent of commission for the real estate agent. And usually to rent a house is not directly, unfortunately, it's not directly with the owners. Mostly everything has to be done through a real estate agency. So of course that costs money. And also many landlords are also asking, especially if we are foreigners that are barely moving into the country, they are asking for 1 year rent in advance. Of course, that is because some of them, they are taking advantage of the situation, but also because they say that they just want to ensure themselves and protect themselves that those new renters are not gonna leave their flat without paying the rent. So that's a way they can protect themselves. So yeah, those are another things that you really need to keep in mind, that it's gonna cost a lot of money. Now let's move on to another important topic, and this is the monthly utilities. And well, the monthly utilities I'm gonna be covering for the gas, electricity, water, internet, and phone package. So let's start with the first one, which is gonna be the gas. Well, this one is monthly, and in our case, we are 2 people living in an apartment, which is 3 rooms, 1 living room, 2 bathrooms, and well, it's a bit big, and we paid between 400 to 500 monthly in winter time. But let me tell you that actually this is quite affordable, because we know many other people and families that they are paying thousands, like 2,000, 3,000. But also it depends in each apartment and maybe your building as well. Because to be honest, ours, there is no need to turn on every single heater. In our case, our apartment is already quite warm. So only with one heater on, which is the one in the living room where we are most of the time at, is more than enough for us. And even most of the times I'm just wearing a t-shirt without socks. And so you can imagine that it is quite good, and we only pay that. But some other flats, actually the previous one we were living in, even though we were turning on the heaters, like all of them, and to the highest temperature, it was so cold. So of course we were paying much more. So also you need to consider those things. And the next one is the electricity. Well, in our case, as I mentioned before, we are only 2 people at home. And when I'm alone, I don't really waste the electricity. So in our case, we are just spending between 500 to 700 liras monthly for electricity. But also there are, depending on how many members in your family are, how many people are living in that apartment, of course, it's gonna increase. So also you can expect to pay maybe up to 2,000 Turkish liras monthly. And also we have water. For water monthly, we are paying between 200 to 300 Turkish liras. And maybe you can expect to pay a little more, but not thousands, unless you are really wasting the water. And of course, another expense that is very important for everybody is the phone package. And for this one, also depending on the company that you are using, in my case, I'm using Turkcell. Well, for that one, I'm paying monthly almost 200 Turkish liras, I think. And let's remember that also Turkcell is one of the most expensive companies, but is one of the best in my opinion. So you can be expecting to pay between maybe 100 to maybe 300 Turkish liras monthly for the phone package. And the last one, it will be the internet. And for this one, we are paying, I think, 200 liras monthly. And I think this one is quite affordable. There are some other packages that are a bit more expensive, but ours is really good, is very fast, strong, and we don't really have a problem. So also depending on the company that you have your internet with, you're gonna be paying that fee. Another important expense is of course the transportation. And let's remember that Istanbul is a huge city. So of course you will need to use it wherever you go if you don't have a car. In our case, we're gonna cover the public transportation because that is how we move within the city. It's so easy, convenient, and you can go almost anywhere with the public transportation. So I'm gonna share the prices of those plans that you can pay monthly, or if you don't have the monthly package, how much will it cost each transportation. If you are already living in Istanbul and if you have your valid residence permit, you can apply for one personalized Istanbul card, which is this special card that we have to use in order to be able to use the public transportation within the city. So this one you can pay a monthly fee and you have, let's say, like 200 credits, and basically you never finish them. But for that, if you don't have a discount, if you are not a teacher or a student, then you need to pay for the full fare. And that full fare, I think right now it's almost 800 Turkish liras. I'm going to be writing the exact amount here on the screen. I believe it's quite expensive right now. I remember about 2-3 years ago, I was paying 300 liras, and then it kept increasing over the months, like quite a lot. So right now it's almost 800 Turkish liras. And if you don't have that monthly Istanbul card, you can also just top it up and just take into consideration that per transportation, you need to pay almost 10 Turkish liras, either bus, metro, except the Marmaray and the metro bus. For that one, I think it's almost 20 Turkish liras. And yeah, so those are the expenses that you're going to be paying for transportation here. And now we are moving on to the groceries section. And for this one, well, in our case, we are only 2 people, and I usually buy groceries every week. So right now, every week we are spending around 500 to almost 600 Turkish liras. And of course, these prices depends as well. Where are you getting your groceries from? Because there are a little bit more expensive supermarkets like Macro Center, maybe Carrefour or Migros. And there are some other local shops that as well are a bit more affordable, or even in the local markets that you can find them certain days around your neighborhood. So depending on that, you will be spending even more or less. But in our case, we are 2 people and we are spending weekly between 500 to 600 Turkish liras. And also let me tell you this, that every time we have to go to the supermarket, or because also usually I'm buying from internet right now, we have so many apps where we can get where we can do grocery shopping online. We don't really have to go out. But every week I have many heart attacks because everything is just like every single day the prices are increasing non-stop. So I mean, right now if you want to buy ground beef meat, I think 500 grams yesterday I bought and it was 120 Turkish liras, only 500 grams. Chicken is almost 100 Turkish liras. A liter of milk is like 23 to 25 Turkish liras depending on the brand. And let's say a 30 pieces of eggs will be like 70 to 80 Turkish liras. And well, cheese as well is quite expensive. Cheese, depending on the type of cheese you are buying, but let's say kaşar peynir, which is very famous here, especially for breakfast in Turkiye, you can expect to pay like 120 Turkish liras for 1 kilogram. So yeah, it's quite expensive right now, even the basic things, also vegetables and fruits and everything. So yeah, so sometimes you're going to be spending like 300 liras, but you have just a few things in your cart. So get ready for that. Another thing that I would like to add is as well, how much usually do we spend eating out, going to a restaurant? Because of course, who doesn't like going to a restaurant every once in a while? So in this case, when we are going out, my husband and I, or with our friends, and if we decide to go to a nicer restaurant, we are expecting to pay between maybe 200 to 400 Turkish liras per person. And let's not talk about street foods or more affordable food, because with that you can maybe even less than 100 liras. But if you want to go to a nicer restaurant and and even have some international food, like, I don't know, Japanese food, Mexican food, Italian food, those are quite expensive here in Istanbul. So yeah, you can be expecting to pay quite a lot. And if you are somebody who goes to eat out quite often, you're going to be spending a lot. I know also many people, because I did this same video about 2 years ago, I think, and they were asking me about, let's say, for beauty salons and for gyms and so on. So that's why in this video, I will add a few of them so you can have a general idea. Not all of them will charge the same, but this is what we are paying right now. So I can tell you according to our personal experience. So for example, for a man haircut, right now in a decent place in around our neighborhood, my husband is paying, I think, 120 Turkish liras or 200 Turkish liras. He told me, so let's think between 100 to 200 Turkish liras. That's for men's haircut. In my case, which by the way, today I went to the hairdresser and I got my haircut and fixed it and everything. And let me know in comments below if you like it, because I loved it. Well, in my case, I paid, which I almost got a heart attack as well, because when I went there about 4 or 5 months ago, I paid a bit less than 1,000 Turkish liras. And today I paid 2,000 Turkish liras. I was quite shocked, but okay, let's think about the inflation, all the products. Many of those products are brought from abroad and everything. So of course, they also need to recover and have some profit. So right now, in my case, I go to Bostancı to one hairdresser here on the Asian side, and 2,000 Turkish liras. I know some other hair salons, some beauty salons, they charge even double of that, even 6,000 Turkish liras. So yeah, depending on the area and the hairdresser, that's the money they're gonna be charging you. If you like doing sports or something, of course, there are plenty of gyms or studios where you can go exercise. At the moment right now, I'm taking Pilates reformer lessons since December of last year until now. So monthly, well, not monthly actually, I'm paying packages of 20 lessons. And those for those 20 lessons, I'm paying 4,500 Turkish liras. But they last, I don't finish those lessons, so in 2 months. So basically I'm paying every 2-3 months 4,500 Turkish liras. Of course, depending on the studio and the area and everything, the price might differ. Also, if you want to go to a gym, I know there are these gyms, these branches, I think they are called MAC. Are they called MAC? McFit. For example, I know there are some gym branches that are quite famous in the city. They are called McFit. I think the memberships might be like 2,000 to 3,000 Turkish liras, but they have many lessons and so on. So also you can find other more affordable gyms around your area, your neighborhood, and smaller ones. So yeah, you can expect to pay something like that. And the last topic, it's gonna be about shopping. And well, this one, it depends of course on the brands and the shops that you really want to do your shopping. But I'm gonna tell you about the international brands, which usually they are quite expensive here in Turkey in general because they are imported. So yeah, for the dollar exchange and everything, of course, they are much more expensive. So for example, brands like the North Face, Columbia, and all of that, and all of those are so expensive here, like 2 to 3 times the prices that you can find them in the US, for example. So right now you can expect to pay, because I just recently checked them, one light raincoat, North Face, it's 5,000 Turkish liras approximately. And also what is quite expensive here is the skincare, especially those international brands. Even The Ordinary, in my case, I use, if you're a woman, you're gonna know about this brand. I use this brand, this skincare brand, which is The Ordinary. And in the US, they are between $10, $15, and so on. But here in Turkey, they are 3 times more the price, and you cannot find them almost anywhere. So it's quite expensive, those things. And just to clarify something, when I'm giving these prices and you exchange the Turkish liras, the prices that I'm giving you in Turkish liras into US dollar or even euro, you're going to say, maybe that's quite affordable. But let me tell you that maybe 70% of people living in this country are not earning in a foreign currency. They are earning in Turkish liras. And many of them also, they are not earning like thousands of Turkish liras. Most of them are earning just above the minimum wage, which is 8,500 Turkish liras monthly. So you can imagine that according to the prices that I already gave you, and if you compare it to the minimum wage right now to Turkish citizens, and that also many foreign people are earning just a bit above of that, they cannot make it. To be honest, I don't understand how people can survive, even the ones with a family, with children, and those ones who are already going to school as well. So yeah, I mean, if you make the comparison, it's not easy, it's not as affordable. So please don't say, oh, my life here is so affordable. Yes, maybe for you, because thankfully maybe you have an income in a foreign currency, and great for you, good for you. But that doesn't mean that everybody in this country is in the same situation. If you have any other question about some cost of living in the city, or any question referred to this video, please don't forget to comment below, and we will be happy to help you, and also our community and our audience. If they know something about your question, they can also reply. Also, if you would like to add something else that is very important, you can comment below. If you like the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. See you next time. Bye bye. If you're thinking of moving to Turkey, you should watch this other video because we're giving you some great recommendations before that.